Good morning. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful start to your week. AJ Outdoors, that was your boy. Appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me, man. I don't know where Peter is. I lost him this morning. He busted his phone last week, so it's kind of hard to get a hold of him. And I sent him everything, that you send out for a live stream and stuff, and I hadn't gotten a response from him, so I don't know what's going on. So I don't know. I don't think we're gonna do a long one today. Just gonna kind of hang out, and it's we had Thanksgiving last week. All the kids were on they were out of school, and who knows how long they'll actually be back in school. I was expecting everyone to freak out a little bit more about the pandemic and everything. I was expecting that everybody was going to have a big stressful freak out after Thanksgiving, all the travel that they weren't supposed to do, everybody, stressing out about it. I was thinking, okay, so Monday or Tuesday, they're going to start telling us all about it, the COVID spikes and everything. So I'm not really seeing that, but I am expecting that Savannah's probably not going to be in school the entirety of the time until the Christmas break comes around. I assume they're probably going to shut things down at one point or another, just because that seems to be the trend this year. Miss Janet McIntosh, ma'am, thank you very much for coming and hanging out. How are you doing? How was your Thanksgiving break? We made our way up to Waco. I got to go hang out with Peter. He got a new house, which was really cool going and checking that out. Really proud of them. Stoked for him and his family because they got a really cool little house in Waco. Of course, they decorated it all like island style, like one of those houses you see out in Port Aransas, which was obviously, real relaxing for us. I got to spend time with my parents and family. Nobody saw a lot of me on the phone. I was not keeping up with social media or YouTube or TubeBuddy or anything else. I completely took that time off and just went away from it all. I've been kind of wearing myself out with it. That between that and job hunts and trying to get work done on the house, it's just been miserable. So I took last week off, just enjoyed it, spending time with the family. And we did get out to the lake and we did get to go have some fun there, which is really awesome. It was nice. Opening day of duck season. Yeah, I knew that was going on. Of course, I've been totally out of the loop, so I don't know how y'all fared. Hope it was all good, Janet. Hope y'all guys managed to bag out on that. Saltwater born morning, man. Appreciate you joining us. Dude, I am loving what you're doing, like your approach to everything that you're doing, man. I just wanted to give you a pat on the back for I remember when you first started, you were just like posting like these cool little 30-second clips of your fishing trips and stuff, and now you're like a total full-on brand. That's really cool. Not a lot of ducks. That sucks, but it's still a nice week. I mean, we didn't catch a lot of fish, but we still had a great week just getting out and away from everybody. Texas rattlesnake, where's Peter? I have no idea. That dude is MIA. I sent him all of the stuff for the stream this morning, and his phone is busted. So I sent it to his wife, and she hasn't responded either. So I don't know if maybe they're just having a late start to the day, getting them started, and getting the kids started in school and stuff. I suspect he'll probably be dropping in here pretty quick. I just figured I'd go ahead and get things started without him. Let him know that he's indispensable. He's dispensable. Whatever. You got to kind of light the fire and kind of put his toes to it a little bit. What I should have done is I should have brought my other brother on. I didn't even think about that. I should have brought him on so that him and I could do a live stream, edge Peter out a little bit, and then kind of put the coals to him on that one a little bit. That's how traditionally in my family, that's how we handle things. Hanging out over the holiday, we came up with this great scheme on a joke that we need to do to Luke. I'm not going to get into it on the live stream. I don't know if it's entirely a good subject to cover on here, but we like playing good pranks. Our family enjoys playing good pranks on each other. We're trying to come up with a good one to do for Luke and for other family members, of course. And Peter needs to catch a few of that too. He needs to catch a little bit of a prank here and there. Hey, morning, Mo. Saw that. No problem. Dude, it's Monday morning. That's how it goes. I'm not expecting much out of this. I didn't post this one on, like all over social media. I put a tweet out. Um, I'm not really sweating it, like I'm not like I'm not hurting for views or watch time or anything like that. This is just kind of hanging out, yeah, having a good time. I want to know how everybody's Thanksgiving fared. We had a good one. I personally, like, I've got a long week ahead of me. I got a lot of catching up that I've got to do. Having taken time off from everything for almost a full week here. So I've got a tall order. I've got long days ahead of me this week. And so, playing that game, I needed a moment to just kind of relax with everybody here, just chill out with my friends and get my week started off right. A cup of coffee. I'm just now starting my cup of coffee. Dude, Andrew Can, I think a good prank is overwhelming Stanley with kindness. Andrew, dude, you're really awesome, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you on so many different levels, man. I thank you. Obviously, you're buying my coffee here this morning. I can't thank you enough for that. Also, just all of the nice things that you do behind the scenes for not just me, but for everybody is very much appreciated, sir. Miss Shannon Naylor, one of our most favorite people in the world. I'm in a really, really good mood, by the way, today, guys. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me. That just makes me feel good. Shannon, how are you doing, ma'am? I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Yeah, Andrew Can's my boy. I don't even know what to say, but he's just, I just appreciate you, sir, on so many levels. He threw there's the prank of the day right there. It threw me off. Now I don't even know where I'm going. I don't even know what I'm saying here. Just in a good mood. I'm loving life right now. I've decided to take. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just like let everybody in on this because I don't know. I respect you, sir. I have been applying incessantly for jobs since midsummer, like hard. And it's the wrong year to be applying for jobs. It's just not happening. I am getting zero traction. It's hurting my feelings. I'm not even getting, I have not had one interview. I have applied for over 100 jobs. I've not had a single interview. Aside from TubeBuddy, who has, that's Mr. Can there, works for TubeBuddy, if you guys don't know. And if you're not checking out the TubeBuddy stuff, I highly suggest that you do. It helped me out a lot. I can vouch for the value that they provide. But TubeBuddy has been the only one that's done like that I've interviewed for or anything like that. And blessed to say that I'm a moderator for TubeBuddy and enjoying every minute of that. Great people. But like outside of that, the work stuff, it's hurting my feelings. I'm not getting any traction on applying for jobs. So at Thanksgiving, I kind of took a step back and talked to family and, kind of mulled over some options. And I think I may be taking a different direction in life. I think that this may possibly be one of those moments where I am going to use this as a means of pivoting. There's Peter, going to try to swap phones today. Hey, no problem, man. I totally understand. Are you going to be able to jump on at all? I've got that link. I sent it to Amber as well, the backstage link. Let me know. However, I need to get a hold of you, whatever you need to do, man. But so I've been talking about it with the family and everything, and I think this is scary. This is scary, and I'm going to be leaning heavily on my friends and family on this one. I think I might go back to school. I think I may avoid, not avoid going for the career jobs that I was, holding out for, the ones that I've been doing for the last 10 years. They've been so fickle, this oil field stuff. I've been laid off twice, and I'm not one to get fired. Like, that doesn't happen to me. I work hard. I'm a good, valuable person to have around, but because of because of how volatile the industry is, I've now been laid off twice. And Like, I'm not the kind of guy that gets laid off. I don't get fired. I'm not fond of that. So I'm thinking about using this as an opportunity to go back to school. Well, Rachel and I talked about it. Now, what this means, like, going back to school ain't no big deal. I've already got most of the classes. I've got a portion of all that out of the way already. I just never finished it. The problem is going to be now I am going to have to go 2 years without a full-time serious job. I'm going to have to commit major time in order to go into school. Now, in doing so, that means I can't go, I'm not going to be able to really target the big time jobs like I would want. I'm going to have to go for a small time, like a part-time job, basically for insurance purposes, and for a little bit of income, which also means I'm going to have to kind of lean heavily on the YouTube stuff, lean heavily in on TubeBuddy, those sorts of things to kind of keep us afloat for the next 2 years in order to get all of that taken care of. But I think I'm in the 90%, 90 to 95, 99% sure that that's the direction that I need to be going. I'm going to take advantage of this. Not totally 100% on this, but I think that's what I might be doing here. Do something in computers and IT. Yeah, what I was looking into, I don't enjoy computers and IT, and I'm not. I fake it. I fake it well. I'm not that good at that stuff. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I am looking into I&E, just because the stuff that I've done in the oil field prior and the refineries out here have a real need for I&E guys. Now, I don't know the first thing about I&E, but I know I can learn it. I've actually done that in the past. I am a Venatech. I'm a certified phlebotomist, and I hate needles. And it was Peter and I both are, and we both hate needles. And it was my hate for needles that got me into wanting to do that. I wanted to overcome that fear. I wanted to get over that. And man, I overcame it, in spades, really hardcore. So I know I can do it. Keep an eye out soon, Andrew. I'm looking at all the options out there, man. And I'm trying to make it more comfortable. I don't want to be stressing about it. I want options to be able to come. I don't want to just pick up the first job that comes down the road. I don't want to just pick up a job because I need a job, which thankfully I'm blessed not to have to do that. And YouTube and TubeBuddy and everything that's going, and, and my wife working really hard is what's allowing me to do that. Very, very thankful for that. I&E, instrument and and electronics, instrumentation and electronics. So like wiring stuff. Yeah, I don't even know that much about it. I just know that I know that at Conoco, like, we did a lot with wires and electronics and instrumentation, and I didn't know anything about what I was looking at. I just knew how to inventory stuff really well for the whole area, so I could inventory it well, but I didn't know what I was looking at. This is going to be more of like what I'm looking at is getting into is doing the actually learning how this stuff works and being able to fix it and doing repairs and running instruments and stuff like that. Mr. Buddha's Place, how are you doing, sir? I apologize. I totally missed you dropping in here. Good morning. Yeah, you're just getting off, aren't you, man? Dude, cold night out there, wasn't it? I don't know about this. You can see I'm all bundled up. Actually, I had the heater running, which is I'm not fond of doing, but I had the heater running here a little while ago, but it's like really noisy, so I shut it off. And now I'm sitting here just like freezing and shivering. But I got a nice warm cup of coffee. Can't even talk right. Also woke up with a weird little bit of a headache this morning. I don't know if that's allergies or what. It's never too late to learn a new trade, and I'm always about learning new stuff. I've got tons of school under my belt. I just never finished the degree. I kept changing, going different directions. I'm an idiot. Plays into it. Miss Farmstead Smith, how are you doing, ma'am? Good morning and welcome. Appreciate you coming, hanging out with us. I don't have my brother here this morning. He's got his phone's all messed up, so he's kind of reeling, trying to figure out how what he needs to do in order to be able to join us this morning. I don't even know how I could send him that link right now. If he's around, whatever, we'll figure it out. If we can, we will figure it out. It does. It feels like winter here. I'm not enjoying that. I was considering going fishing this morning, and I checked the surf report, and it's gonna be a tall order. Like, I can pull off a fishing trip during the week, It's going to be a tall order, though. I got to get some stuff done. I haven't done anything around the house like the last 2 weeks. I really need to get some construction done around here in order to not have I can't have a wife mad at me when I get when I get done at the end of the day. So if I'm going to do a fishing trip, which I can do, for one, I need the conditions to be better than they were this morning. I saw that it was flat and I got excited and I thought maybe I'm going to go out and do some fishing. And then I saw the temperature and then I saw the wind and I cut that off. Not happening. I'm just not doing it today. Too cold. Oh, okay. So she's gonna. I don't even know if she saw the message. I can't do it. It'll shut down the phone here on my end. Let me see if I can just share it right here. I don't really care. I'm not gonna hurt anything if I do that. It's totally against the rules. You are not supposed to do that. But if I can, I will. Give me just 1 second here, folks. Let me get this, do that. I'm gonna hit that button right there and head on over here. Is it gonna let me do it? Is it gonna do it? There it is. My apologies to anybody else in the chat here. I am posting that link for the behind the scenes to get on the live stream here. I'm afraid I'm only accepting Peter on that one right now. If some other people would like to go live, chat with me, hit me up, because I'm more than happy to have someone to sit here and chat with in the morning. I'm just not very good at organizing that stuff. We're going to hit the 40s in Florida. Oh, we're in the 40s right now. I'm not digging it. Yeah, no, I am not feeling good about that one. Really, I didn't know that to share the stream link. Yeah, oh yeah, that's how it works on StreamYard. You have a link for like the backstage and then a link for the stream that you share out. And that backstage one, that's kind of like, you're not supposed to really let a whole lot of people see that. It's not a big deal because I can still like manage who gets on and who doesn't. But you're opening yourself up to to weirdos, backstage. And I know my audience. I know you guys. I don't trust you. It's going to be colder tonight and tomorrow in the low 40s or lower. Hey, that's nice. We're going to have we're going to do it right. We're going to do, apple cider, and we're going to cook up something warm and fattening, but generally speaking, I do not do cold weather at all. Just not my thing. There he is. What's up, Peter? You look cold.
What's going on, man? I'm using the house internet, so it might be a little bit edgy for me. I'm not sure. How am I coming through?
Edgy. Yeah, and I'm hearing an echo too. You're gonna need to get yourself some earbuds.
I had you on the TV, so the echo should stop now.
Oh, awesome, cool. Yeah, for you guys who do YouTube, that's FYI. I would encourage you to consider who's watching your stuff, and if there's anything that you can do in order to convince people to watch your stuff on TV, I suggest doing that. It's a personal thing. I don't know that anybody else in the world would they wouldn't disagree with me, but it's not going to be an analytic thing so much as, personally, I want to target people watching me on the television. I think that those people watch a little bit longer. You're not going to flip through YouTube channels on TV quite as easily as you are on the phone, which means more watch time, which means thumbs up from YouTube. Just my thought. For sure, weirdos. It's too early for me to troll you. Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're right. It's super early. It's not like people are going to be really jumping. Although the people who jump on live and are going to be trolling me this early in the morning, they're going to be good at what they do.
Man, it's cold over here. Is it cold down there now?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's brr, as Shannon says.
I'm making some coffee right now, and then I'll go to the studio.
I just barely had time to make coffee. And John, it's not letting me delete it, but I'm not too worried about it. They still have to get through the whole backstage thing. Yeah, Texas Rattlesnake, this dude has been everywhere. This dude hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, He went and commented on a bunch of videos. Don't think I didn't notice that. I believe I responded to everything. If I didn't, I apologize. But I got a lot of traffic comes through. It gets kind of hard answering some of those comments and stuff. I'm blessed to be in that to have that as an issue, I suppose. We did the last time I checked, we were answering comments on YouTube at a clip of 15,000 a year. So I was able to destroy the chat on one of the treasure fishing streams. I can't encourage that. Cooper's my boy. We're going to be buddies. He doesn't know that yet. We're going to be buddies, though. Now, I'm not going to encourage that. There's some other guys out there. I don't mind. Go and gun them down. But I am going to say I got Thresher's back on that one. He's a good guy. And he works hard. He does a good job, too. He puts out good content. So, Peter, man, you guys recuperated from Thanksgiving or what? Oh, real quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
My apologies. Thanksgiving stuff kind of got in the way. I apologize. I promise you are going to see me on there. I'm going to make a big push to get your backstage link. And you feel free. You continue giving me a hard time all you want, man. It's not a problem at all. So, Peter, recuperating from Thanksgiving, man. How y'all guys doing? We got Savvy back. Rachel and I had to leave a day early. So Savannah stayed up in Waco with my parents, and they came back yesterday. They got back a lot earlier than I expected. I didn't expect them until yesterday afternoon.
Well, they left pretty early in the morning.
They just had to get away from you, huh?
I got morning here. Oh, man, we're still recovering. This morning, the girls didn't realize that it was Monday and that they had to go back to school today. And they wanted to sleep in because of the weather.
Are they doing school on virtual still?
No, they're back at the school.
Oh, full time. Okay, cool. I was expecting. We were watching the news. I was expecting everybody to be freaking out about the holiday travel for Thanksgiving. I thought it was going to be, and they did make that was in the news. People were talking about it, but it wasn't a freak out. It was more like, okay, you went to Thanksgiving with your family. Now you need to quarantine for 2 weeks. I thought it was going to be like, oh, the numbers are going to spike and freaking out, but they wasn't. They're actually we're a little bit more controlled about that. I respect that. I wanted to give them a pat on the back. Good job, media, for not totally blowing that one out of proportion. Maybe the numbers just weren't back. Easy, beautiful, nice. It was. You know what? We've got a book. We're listening to Ready Player 2. We talked about that. I love Clive Owen or Clive, whatever his name is, the author of that book. I'm really enjoying that book. So, man, it's a 5-hour drive, and that just flew. It went by. Buddha, man, get your rest. I totally understand.
Yeah, when you put on
the audio, hope you have a wonderful week, sir. And happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that drive's a lot easier when you got something to listen to on the way. I was doing that, twice a week, once a week. I was doing it once a week whenever I was going down there for work.
Okay.
4-hour drive. That's 2 podcasts.
Hold on here. We've got Andrew Can backstage. I've got to pull him on. That's awesome.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, man. What's up? How are you doing?
I am good.
That link.
I am up very early because someone at 4:30 was like, "What if I revved my truck as loud as I can?" And I'm like, "I get it. I respect the truck. It's 4:30 in the morning. So if I can ask you to leave."
We are an oil field community down here. So what that means is our neighbors are going to live, and I'm the living embodiment of that. One of these days, everyone will see my house, but my house is not great. I don't live in an expensive house. I am buying it, but it's not an expensive house. I have thin walls, but as do my neighbors. We all work in the oil field in some portion of it, but that means we have poor houses, big trucks, and big TVs.
Well, Stanley, I'm used to oil country. I lived in Gulfport, Mississippi for a good portion of my life, so that right there is oil field heavy as well. Maybe not as much as the Texas scene. It's more of the Gulf of Mexico, but I definitely understand it. It's just I moved to LA to avoid that, and it keeps following me.
Oh man, I tell you what, I'm not sorry to hear that. I'm happy that it happened because I'm glad having you here. I know that's got to be. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to use that as an inspiration. You're waking up at 4:30 in the morning to come and stream. I mean, that's commitment.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. It's a pleasure having you here.
Happy to be here.
So, what's the agenda for today? You're up early. You're going to get some stuff done. I'm planning and hoping to do the same. What are your plans? What are you getting done today?
So, this is kind of, one of the last weeks of work before I got a lot of stuff I have to get done in my personal life at TubeBuddy. So I got a lot of stuff coming for creators, and I'm just here to have a good time. I heard you were talking about some Thanksgiving stuff and saw the stream, so just thought I'd hop in.
Shoot, yeah. It's our thought on this, and I don't know if we've nailed this 100%, but we're trying. Monday mornings, I enjoy when I was working, I enjoyed having a live stream. There were some other people that we were involved with that would have a live stream, and we enjoyed sitting there and watching them, or at least listening to them when I was like driving to work. And we haven't had that this year. And I thought, being laid off with everything, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to go ahead and live stream on Monday mornings. Now it's rough because Monday mornings are equally as rough for me as they are for anybody else. But I have the capability of jumping on, going live. Everything in my life outside of this right here, everything that's outside of those bars is a total disaster in this room. It's a mess. But we're still going to go live and just have a good time with everybody. And I hope to spread a little bit of that to everybody else. Maybe we can all have a good start to the week,
Yeah, of course.
I thought I had to have internet. I thought I had to have the cell phone signal to be able to do this. But it seems like my Wi-Fi is working pretty good.
Oh, by the way, my apologies, Andrew. This is my brother Peter over here. Peter, this is Andrew.
That's
What's going on? Yeah. So you were TubeBuddy?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I didn't. I don't have mine on. Well, it's too cold for just a t-shirt down here for me. I think we're in the 40s right now, and that doesn't happen in Texas.
I know. I spent a good amount of time in Wimberley, Texas, right up near Austin. So
yes, sir.
When it comes to the South, I'm well traveled.
That's really cool. Actually, I used to work in Wimberley.
Really?
I used to do construction all over Austin. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't remember what I did there. We did a lot of projects when I was there. But yeah, construction all over that area.
Beautiful area.
Oh man, my wife is stressing. She wants to consider moving back up to Austin area. And I have a really hard time saying no to that because it's a gorgeous area. I'm a saltwater guy. Like I was born and bred and raised at the beach down here, and I need it. And I really, really miss that when I lived in Austin. But everything outside of that need for being around the beach was just flawless up in that area. It's just really, really pretty. Everything about it.
Need too. I've been up in Waco for a couple of years now, and I consider moving back just to be near the ocean because it's pretty rough. There's a lot of stuff that helps takes your mind off of it, but yeah, nothing really quite fills that gap. I don't know. I just feel like I need to be out there. It's worth driving all the way down there just to go on a trip.
And Jay says, "Don't do it. Stay near the coast." I've managed to keep her down here for the last for 15 years now. And I'd been trying for 10 years desperately to get back to Corpus Christi. We're an hour away. And that hour is too much for me to have to. I drive an hour to go to the beach. All these videos, this is not the smartest decision. Andrew, you can make fun of me on this one. But I based my channel on something that requires me to drive an hour to do. Like, let that sink in for just a minute. Now, I will say I am the master at batching content.
Well, that's good. And to be fair, at least you're not the ones like the channels I worry about were the ones like my whole channel is traveling the world. And then, 2020 really made it. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen a lot of those channels. So they're like, what can I do? I'm like, well, we'll figure that out.
Bathroom.
It's been a lot of how you find your trips. What websites do you recommend? It's just like, what do we do?
there's always options out there. You can do a
Mhm.
video comparing Expedia to the other ones. I don't know them all. Priceline.
Exactly.
Airbnbs, man. There's Airbnbs everywhere.
Well, I might need to look up Airbnbs and go fishing. It's been too long because, believe it or not, in the desert of LA, it's a little hard. I can go to the beach, but that's the closest I got. So it's been a couple of years since I've gone, but I miss it for sure.
We will. You know what? When we did Video Marketing World, you did Video Marketing World. I attended Video Marketing World a couple years ago in Dallas. My original plan, and this changed a little bit, but my original plan was to go camp at the lake that entire weekend, and then attend the courses during the day, and then go camp out at night. I ended up not doing that, but we did go hit up that lake. My brother lives an hour away. We ended up going to fishing on that one, and after that weekend, gorgeous lake. We made a really pretty video out of it. We actually rank for the term Lake Waco on that one. I think we're like ranked number 3 or something like that.
Nobody does videos about Lake. I've been trying to find Waco YouTubers, and I haven't been able to find hardly anything.
No, I saw the same thing. Like, it's not the hardest thing in the world, but I will say it took us 3 years, but we finally got a fish out of that lake this week.
Yeah, finally.
The title is Catching the Only Fish in Waco Lake. There you go.
Oh, I'm so using that. That's awesome.
Sorry, Waco, we got him.
Then you get the town angry at you. That's our one whole fish.
That's Jimmy. You call little Jimmy. He's a pet.
Probably somebody's pet. Well, he tasted pretty good.
Yeah, Peter made a wonderful recipe for little Jimmy.
His name was it Tony or Tom?
Oh, that's right. That's his daughter. We actually had her. We were crawling around in the mud. His daughter actually, like, she was down there with us, so we had her pull in our fishing lines, and she actually caught him. She pulled it in, which, that's part of the experience, is getting the kids active and involved in it. And she named him. And we're like, okay, so you want to let him go or you want to eat him? No, I want to keep him and eat him. Like, are you sure? That's a name.
Yeah.
And she kind of learned that lesson. And then she learned that lesson. Then we had to go fillet him and do everything. And all of a sudden we were filleting Tom, and she kind of learned that one the hard way. Do we have to deal with a lot of storms on the coast down here? Seems scary to me. We do. Actually, it's like most of the time it's dry. It's really windy. Not a whole lot of storms. Like thunderstorms, we don't get a whole lot of. We get hurricanes. And this year we got a total record. Like, they ran out of names for the hurricanes down here, but you get used to them. Like,
I like
normal year. Yeah. I don't mind a hurricane. It shuts down a lot of places. Everybody packs in. You got to board up your windows and stuff. And you do have to take, for real precautions, because they can get bad sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of the time, you get some rain, you get some wind, there's a little bit of flooding, and you have a little bit of a party with your family.
Yeah, and don't take hurricanes too lightly, because I lived through Katrina and the Gulf Coast, and whew.
The Harvey was pretty bad. Most of the time, they don't hit directly on a town like that, but when they do, it can get bad, and that's when you got to worry about it. But a lot of times they kind of go in dead like no man zones, and it's just a lot of rain. Actually,
that's what we hope for.
Yeah.
It's, if you get that eye on like a category 3+, category 4, category 5, if that eye hits a city, that is going to be really, really bad. The majority of the time we get Cat 1s, which, still bad, but they're not going to destroy a place. So I think like Port Aransas got hit by a Cat 1 or something a couple years ago, and it did. Like, Port Aransas is one of those towns, if a Cat 5 hits it, that town doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
The Hurricane 1900 hit, no, that one hit Galveston. Celia hit Port Aransas back in the 70s, I think it was, and just leveled that town. Almost didn't exist after that.
Even Harvey did a ton of damage in Port Aransas. It had to shut down for a while.
Harvey, and that was Cat 3, I think.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad.
Yeah. Let's see. She says we had winds of 85 miles a year in Central Oregon, and one of the hives blew over. She does beekeeping, for those guys who don't know. And I highly suggest checking out her content because she is a wonderful personality. Now, I'm afraid of the wind a lot. Thankful not to have too many trees. See, yeah, that's the thing down here in Texas. We're the windiest, or Corpus Christi is the windiest city in America. Chicago got the title because they were there first. But literally, the wind in Corpus Christi is higher than on average than anywhere else, like 50 mile an hour. And I hate that. I am not fond of the wind. That's why I don't have hair. It's because I don't want to have to deal with it blowing in the wind. We don't have that wonderful, absolutely perfect Los Angeles weather down here.
It has its trades because you have better people, but
I didn't say that.
Hey, I've been okay. I've lived in New York. I've lived in Mississippi. I've lived in LA now, so 3 different locations. And what I can say is LA's got a lot of good people, just like anywhere else in the country. They got a lot of good people. They got a lot of bad people. I tend to run into a little bit more of the bad situation, but overall the place is nice. And I think that's anywhere in the country. It's anywhere in the world, you know?
Yeah, it really is. It's, I live in Texas, and I'm like, okay, so we have Lone Star beer, which is like the beer of Texas, the national beer to blah, 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 all this stuff. And it's one of those ones that, like, anytime you see somebody on TV, they're drinking Lone Star beer if they're from Texas. It's the state beer, whatever. If I'm outside of Texas, if I'm in Oklahoma, I'm drinking Lone Star. I'm going to represent my state. But just between us here, if I'm down here in Texas, that stuff is swill. Lone Star is better. It's gross. And I kind of liken that to, like, that's kind of the people. Like, if I'm outside of Texas, oh yeah, no, I represent my people. It's my Texas people. But when I'm down here in Texas, I'm down in outside of Corpus Christi, and I'm like, I don't like that guy.
I mean, we drink a lot of Lone Star beer, but I mean, Shiner's another Texas beer, and that one's way better. Plus, they got a bunch of different good flavors.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you want a good Texas beer, you go Shiner.
That's a nice town too. Actually, they actually like cleaned the town, so you drive. You get dirty highways or whatever. You'd be driving through some kind of gritty towns, and all of a sudden you hit Shiner, and it's like those paintings you see, or those like the perfect town with the white fences and the sun's got a big happy face on it, and it's like just above the trees. That's Shiner.
And it's a whole town that's obviously world field stuff in there now, but I mean the whole town is run by a brewery.
Oh wow!
Which is kind of like your what's that little town that's run by the Jack Daniel's distillery? They do commercials just about the people who live in that town alone, because that's the kind of a wonderful like life they have created for themselves there.
It's a pretty nice little town. I don't want to live there. It's kind of far away from everything, and it's a small town, but it's nice. It's clean. They got a couple good restaurants.
Where is in Los Angeles? Where is the place that you go to get away from your circle of area that you normally go to?
You can go to a couple of, like, the parks. You can go to like Griffith Park. You can go to like Big Bear if you want to go experience some like more of the nature side. One thing I like about LA is you can go 2 miles in any direction. You can get pretty much any climate. You can get snow. You can get the beach. You can get the desert. You can get the forest. So I like that aspect. It's just, as Farm Stiff Smith, Adrian said, it's just basically like dealing with it all. It's like, it's just so much population. One thing like I like about LA is all the opportunity, but there's always a cost, right? Which is, I always tell people, they're like, other cities are different. I'm like, no, you go to Houston, it's pretty much the same. It's like, it's anywhere you go, except, we're talking about, beer and all that. I love when you drive into Houston. One of the first things you see is the factory right there for beer. And I'm like, that's how you know you're in Texas. When you drive right there, that's how you hit it. That's when you really start.
But I spent a little time in Los Angeles about 15 years ago. I backpacked through that area. And one thing that really stood out to me, it was really, really similar to Corpus Christi down here, in my opinion. Like, just the way the city is, the temperature, the roads, I don't know, the layout of the place seemed really, really reminiscent of the Corpus Christi, which is where I grew up, but on a much more massive scale. It was like 32 Corpus Christi's. Like every piece of Los Angeles is like a blown up portion of a tiny piece of Corpus Christi, including your awesome beaches. You know, we got beaches down here, and they were kind of similar. They were actually really similar to the beaches in Los Angeles, with the exception being that your waves are awesome. I was surfing at the time.
For sure. Also, I grew up in the Atlantic Ocean, so coming to the Pacific Ocean where the water comes down from Alaska, it's freezing, and I'm like, And people are like, who wants to swim in warm water? I'm like, well, I don't enjoy like ice cold water, so I'm like, I just want somewhere in between.
Just a happy medium.
Right.
You guys, have you done any fishing on the coast down there? Have you had an opportunity?
I have not had the opportunity. Unfortunately, it's funny you were talking about hurricanes. I had to leave Mississippi because of a hurricane. And at the time, they were like, it's going to be the next Katrina. And when you hear that and you've lived through Katrina, you're like, well, been through that song and dance before. So I went to LA. And so it was pretty much it was either I do that or, the potential to lose everything I've worked for online. So it's like, well, I guess I'm going to LA like I've been planning to anyway. So I had to unfortunately leave a lot of my gear behind because, it's like when you're packing up to leave, I know you'd be different, Stanley, but for me, my job is in film and doing all this. So I'm like, get my film gear. Yeah. But I still have all my old gear. I should probably just send it out here.
Man, I totally respect that. I understand that. If I had to leave for any reason, there's going to be things that I leave behind. There's going to be portions of my life that are going to get left behind, and that's how that goes. I went through that when I got married. I had my little section, my little things in life that I did. There was a few. I collect hobbies, and I had a few of them, and I had to put some of those on the back burner. Surfing, unfortunately, kind of hit the back burner. Not so much because of the wife or anything. The physical stuff, having to work and just not having the time to do it. Fishing is a family thing that's ingrained in us. We have to do it. Now, I will say, I respect and I give you a pat on the back. You had a hurricane. You living in Mississippi. You had a hurricane that fleshed you out, and you went all the way to Los Angeles. Now, if a hurricane were to hit here and destroy my house, then I would probably get that one like across the street. you were a little bit more dramatic of a move, and I love that. Actually, I think I need that in my life. I need that dramatic move. We were talking about earlier. I'm talking about going back to school and doing all that. I think I kind of need a dramatic move like that. I probably need a dramatic move in like the housing and everything else as well. So I'm going to use you as my inspiration for that.
Well, when that Harvey hit, I just packed the family up and all the important stuff they needed. But we had like a good day to prepare for that, right? And we're all going to go stay in a hotel because it's a much bigger structure. So I got them secured, and then I went back to the house and grabbed all my camera gear, even my computer, everything I was going to need, and I put it in the car. And then whenever I parked the car in between two big, those trucks that the electricians will use, they're like vans, they're like big trucks, right? And they got all that heavy equipment on them. I just parked in between two of those in the parking lot and was like, okay, I think my car will be fine. And it didn't get touched. Like there weren't even any leaves on it because those two cars just blocking all the wind. But I had everything secured in my car, assuming that it didn't blow away or whatever, some massive craziness. And I actually got lucky. The house was fine, so I didn't even need to do any of that. But I try to keep all my gear, even my computer, PC, ready to go. Like if I needed to, I could pack it up in 20 minutes, have all my equipment ready to go. Studio on the move.
That's my YouTube setup, is studio on the move. I have my entire YouTube thing packed into a backpack. We got to be out of the beach or on a boat or something for the majority of our filming, so I kind of need it to be that way. And everything is waterproof. I love it. I got married at 22. This is Farmstead Smith. I'm getting caught up on the chat here. It says, I moved to South Korea with only like a carry-on and one checked luggage with mostly art supplies. That is rad. Awesome. I don't know what to say about that. That is just simply rad. School for what? I'm looking at going back for instrument and electronics simply because the refineries around here are looking for that. And I need to finish my degree in something. I just want it. I'm just tired of not having it. It's an embarrassment that I went through. I went through many years of school and I never finished it. I just want to finish it, have it under my belt, and we'll see what happens along the way. Why haven't we talked?
Go ahead.
Just real quick, your takes are all six says, why haven't we talked about fishing this entire stream? A couple of reasons. For one, we're all kind of decompressing after the whole Thanksgiving thing. And for two, that's kind of the main reason. For two, this isn't really like the traditional like Monday kind of stream that we do. I've been a little bit stressed out the last couple of weeks. I'm decompressing from Thanksgiving, and I'm kind of using, I'm not going to lie, I am using you, the viewer, you, Texas Rattlesnake, to decompress, and I'm using you to kind of enjoy the beginning of my week and getting back into things and stuff like that. We got some fishing stuff coming up. But yeah, this live stream is just a little bit more about me and me just using you guys to kind of level my head. So I thank you for that.
Nothing wrong with a little reset, especially when we've had a year like this. However, I know that especially moving forward in 2021, one of the things I want to do is get back into fishing because I just find it very relaxing. And especially with a year like this, you never know what you're going to get. So I'm just looking to get back into it.
I look forward to being a part of that. We've been talking about going to California, and if and when that opportunity presents itself, we make our way over there, say Vid Summit or something like that. When things start to open back up, I will bring gear and I will make that happen for you.
Awesome. That sounds right up my alley.
We'll have fun with it. You guys got some really cool species over there that I really want to get into. You have a really cool. You have a sheep's head. We have sheep's head here, but you have a different one that's really pretty. Yours is black and red. And you have some fish, I forget what they're called, but it looks like what we have is a blenny, but the meat is blue. And that one's really high up on the list of things that I want to catch just because I want to eat a fish that has blue meat.
Yeah, I want to try blue meat fish.
We've never done that. It's like green eggs and ham, but for a South Texas fisherman.
Yeah.
We're going to remember that. We're going to use that is somewhere going to be in that video title. We're going to do a Dr. Seuss version of fishing. Good morning, Mr. Come On Reds Fishing. How are you doing there, man? Texas Rattlesnake, you guys are talking about pinfish. Who's caught the biggest pinfish? Hard to say. But I know that I've caught them upwards of about a pound, pretty big, and they're actually really good eating if you get into a good one. Rockfish, that's what it is. They're more specific. It's not just a rockfish. It's some kind of rockfish, and I don't remember what kind of rockfish that is. But yeah, just a fish. You guys have some fishermen in California who go and I love this experience. This is one of the things that got me into doing what I do on YouTube is watching guys who they take a fishing rod and they just go down to the beach. And the California guys do it really cool because they've got such beautiful scenery to do it with. Texas, it's not like we have a not bland, but it's just like a stretch of beach. There's no anything to it. It's just a stretch of beach. California, those guys, they got to climb down a little cliff. It's rocky coastline. They'll have, pretty backgrounds and stuff. And you have clear water more persistently than what we have. And they walk down there with a fishing rod. And it's this beautiful day out, and they have this whole section down the PCH all to themselves. And they get out there into these kelp forests and stuff underwater, and they catch these really cool looking fish that I've never seen. And then they go and they cook them on a rock on the beach with some seasoning that they probably got out of the ocean. I don't even know, but that's the whole experience of that video. I have, for 3 years now, I've been trying to recreate that on a Texas level, and I haven't done it yet. But that's my goal, is simply to recreate that experience on a Texas level.
You just put it on a boulder instead of a little rock, and you just really, you got to do it bigger because it's Texas style. So it's just basically you do it all really well. The thing I love about fishing out here is you'll see these people, they'll go out with fishing. I saw one guy who was just like, I want to bring all of my rod. He just put it in his mouth and started climbing down and like a rock face. And I'm like, there's stairs over there, but he's like, nah, I need the authentic experience, and just starts going down the rock face. I love watching people fish here because some people will just have two rods, not care at all. And they'll just be like, I know I'm going to get it. And like, if you go to any of the spots and you're like, how's the fishing? They're like, I'm going to get one now. And then they'll start like doing it because they're just so in tune with like how they do it, because there's so much fish, which is good because no one fishes here usually except like a very small group of people. So they just kind of have a good way of the water and knowing their rod.
I totally love that. And you're right about that. I don't understand. When we were there, it was so easy to get a stretch of beach to yourself. You got a lot of coastline, but there's so many people that I would have thought it would have been harder. And we spent some time in like Venice and Orange County, and that's a little bit different. It was really packed over there. But man, like we were camping out in just outside of Malibu, and what's that? You got a beautiful little town outside of Malibu that was gorgeous. Completely slips my mind. But in any event, Big Sur. All of those spots along that coast are it's so gorgeous, and you can get them all to yourself. I don't understand why, like, we didn't see anybody fishing at all. I don't understand why they're not doing that.
It's more so that it's like, you know, the joke is like Californians are like very liberal. So a lot of them are like, we can't harm the fish. And I'm like, well, if you understand like how an ecosystem works and you understand if there's too much of one fish, it's like actually by not acting, you could be doing just as much as overacting. So it's trying to teach that to a lot of, they're like, I never thought of it that way. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of things where, you know, you kind of have to understand. It's kind of like, if there's an overpopulation of, you know, wildlife, that's why hunting can be very effective. And it's me just being like, oh gosh, I did learn a lot in the South.
That's a heck of a point. And I don't know, I kind of have a different point of view on being conservative, which I highly push being conservative. One of the things that we stress on my channel, probably to our own detriment, is we try to push the species that typically people don't aim for, that they don't eat. People don't know if they can eat them. Saltwater catfish being one of them. It's not a popular prized, you know, catch. So sometimes people will just throw them back in hopes of trying to catch, you know, the sports fish, the bigger names. And sometimes they just like kill them and just leave them on the beach. And I'm against that. I'm you know, going to suggest to people eat these species. We make a big point of trying to eat a lot of that kind of weird stuff on our channel. But a good example of that in your area, you have a fish, we call them cobia or ling. Cobia is the more popular name for them. It's an Atlantic fish, but you are getting them now in the Pacific, and that is a highly regulated species for us. You're only allowed to catch one, and it's got to be over like 36 inches. But it's an invasive species for you. You can catch them all day long. So yeah, exactly what you're talking about, like catching those species to help cull the herd. To say some of those species like cobia, that is one of the best eating fish in the ocean. And if you have free reign on that, you need to be gunning for them.
Exactly. But I do have to get going. It was great to meet you both. I've met you before, Stanley, but you know, it was great to meet you.
Yeah, man.
Hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you for having me on, Stanley.
Dude, it was an absolute pleasure. And Andrew, I will be seeing you on the TubeBuddy Discord and in the TubeBuddy forums as soon as we're done over here. So, man, Andrew, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Take care.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Andrew Can from TubeBuddy. Nice of him to stop by. Yeah, he's a good guy.
In here.
Yeah, it's just one of like you know, that's one of those things. I want to be a big YouTuber because I just want to do that. I want to go and steal people's backstage stream links and just go jump on their live streams.
You know, that's an interesting concept to put the link in the comments, because then you could take calls. You could have a moderator.
And actually, I did enjoy that. I was joking around earlier about like, oh, you're not supposed to do this because you're going to get weird people and stuff like that. I'm actually not opposed to like doing that, honestly, to bringing people on. How would you guys feel in the chat? Texas Rattlesnake, I know you're going to try to troll me. I know how that goes. I know your type. But how does everybody feel about that? How would y'all feel about jumping on lives on Monday mornings? Hanging out with us, like if we gave everybody a couple-minute time limit, and then when somebody runs their mouth about you know, trolling and stuff like that, we just like drop them off and do someone else.
I got enough of that. Censored.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's censoring. Just censored beep.
Farmstead Smith getting caught up on the chat here. My nerdy butt, Big Sir. When did we start talking Max? Max, like a Macintosh? Is that? I'm afraid I'm a little behind on that joke. Big Sir, to get aside from what I'm sure was a funny joke because I've got, I'm gullible. Big Sur is one of the most beautiful places in the world. It's a piece of beach in California. The highway that runs along the coast is the PCH, and it's a section of the PCH, a little town, most expensive town in the world. Like, you will never know a person who owns property in Big Sur, but the beach over there, the coastline, is just it's literally one of the most beautiful pieces of coastline in the world. I think they actually have that as a top 10. It's gorgeous. Where is it that there are those fish that jump out of the water at you? Peter, you want to take a crack at that?
Like out in the ocean?
Yeah, there's fish jump out of the water everywhere.
Yeah. Which kind
I'm
of fish?
assuming you mean flying fish. And those are worldwide. We've got those here, but you've got to get into super blue water to get them. So typically you got to be in Texas 20 miles offshore to get into them. Now in Oregon, you've got them there too. I would assume. I know they've got them in California because they're going to be a warmer water fish. So if you catch Dorado or mahi mahi in Oregon, you'll get them because they feed off of flying fish. But you're not going to have to go far. In your area, California, you're probably only going to have to go 5 miles offshore maybe to get into them. They might even be right there by the beach.
I've seen videos in the freshwater too. People just going down a river in their boat, and then fish jump out of the catfish and stuff will jump out at them. I think it was catfish.
Okay. So the joke is that Big Sur is a Macintosh operating system. That's how okay, I got you. I thought it was something like that. I'm a PC guy, so I don't know anything about Macs. Hey, how you doing there, Jason C? Missed a few of these, but wanted to say what's good, dude. Appreciate that, man. Happy Thanksgiving. We had a really good one. Got to spend an entire week with my family. No phone, no stuff that I had to do. I enjoyed it. We're getting back into the swing of things now, and we're doing it right with the live stream here. Total pleasure having you here with us, man.
I had a blast in Thanksgiving. I thought this was an awesome week.
Oh, okay. She's talking about those big, it was that Asian carp, I believe it is. Those really, have you seen that, Peter? The Asian carp up in the Great Lakes and the rivers in the Midwest? That's right up your alley.
I was thinking of.
Those are those really big silver ones that they travel in big schools, and you'll go cruising down the river in a boat, and they just start jumping all over the place, and they actually are kind of dangerous. They'll jump into your boat, and if they hit you, that thing weighs 15 pounds. It hits you like a hammer.
That sounds like fun.
Well, it's fun because they sit there, they go trolling down a river, and what they do is they take a bow and they sit there and try to hit them as they jump out of the water. But I've also seen them do it, you can do it with a net, or I've seen other people do it with a baseball bat, which isn't cool, but at the same time, it's completely hilarious.
Like a samurai sword? You just sit on the front of the boat?
You sit on the back. Yeah, they sit there in the wake, and they're jumping out with your wake like the dolphins do down here.
Yeah.
And I've never caught one. I don't know this, but I've heard that they're actually good eating, or that they're edible. I don't think that they're good eating. So that's one of the problems, is they're not a prized catch. It's one of those fish that was, I believe, brought over. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe they were brought over from Japan, China, one of those areas. They were brought over as a feedstock.
From the 1500s, the West African Trading Company brought them. Oh, I'm just kidding. The mid 19th century. Let me give you a full history.
They use them as a feedstock, but Americans don't like it.
I'm pretty sure you could
shoot
make
them with a shotgun. Yeah,
you can make almost all of this fish taste good.
I agree. They're not going to be bad.
We made some nasty fish taste pretty good before.
We've made some nasty fish taste not terrible.
Yeah.
I want to try Asian carp. I will say some of the species that we had when we were up there, we caught a lot of them when I was in Wisconsin. One thing that I noticed, and like A and J, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about better than I do, but they have a weird bone pattern. Like the trout that we caught. They've got that regular set of bones down the spine, but then they've also got another set of them that come off the spine like in a V shape.
Yeah,
so you can't
crazy scales, right?
Well, no, the brown trout are actually that's like that, like a rainbow trout is what we caught. So that's the ones you get at like restaurants that are like just gorgeous and like, perfect meat and everything.
I was talking about the carp, the Asian carp. Those ones with those crazy like dinosaur scales.
I don't know. I don't know that much about them, but yeah, I would assume they probably have a weird bone pattern and probably a weird scale pattern to them also. So yeah, that plays into it, I'm sure. Because I mean, it plays into it here. Like how many times have you heard somebody say, "Ew, skipjack, it's gross"? No, it's not gross. The meat's actually pretty good. It's those damn bones, and nobody's ever actually filleted one and eaten it. Because you know, if somebody says, "Oh no, skipjack doesn't taste good," you know for a fact they've never tried it, because it tastes just fine. It's those bones that are the problem. At least that's what I've heard. If somebody like A and J said that, that'd be a different ballgame. If he said it's gross, you probably want to listen to him more than us because we eat everything. But outside of that,
and even the bones don't ever. There's ways of getting rid of the bones, or just cooking it to the point where the bones don't even affect you. You can just chomp right through them.
I'm kind of experimenting with that, and I am going to figure out a way to eat skipjack. People eat tarpon. If you eat tarpon,
make a big stew, man.
Yeah, that's a way to do it. I think if you could pressure cook them, I think that would solve the problem. And I think, of course, if they're smaller, skipjack. But if you do a bigger skipjack and take a spoon and spoon out that meat along the direction of the bones so that they don't get caught, they just slide right off. I've been told to do it that way, and we're going to experiment with that.
Well, so how do you cook snake? I imagine that. I mean, I've cooked snake a few times, but the bone, it's not. I guess it's a little different than fish because you can just peel the meat right off the bone. But how do you do that? I mean, can't you cook fish with lots of bones roughly the same way?
Yeah, I think the meat comes off the bone a little easier with snake. I would just fry it in segments and just eat the meat off the bone. With the fish, the problem is that they're such hairline bones. It's not like a hard bone. Like they have that ridge of bones on their back like every other fish does. It's all those little tiny hairline bones, and it's just like having hair in the meat. Like that's what those bones are like. You can eat them all day long, you swallow them, but you feel like you have hair in your mouth when you do it. Hey, Holland Ash, how are you doing, man? Appreciate you stopping by. We're winding down here. We're probably going to go for like another 3 minutes, something like that, and then we're just going to go ahead and shut her down. Everybody's got to start their day. I've got some stuff. I have a half suspicion. You missed it a little while ago. Mr. Andrew Can from TubeBuddy stopped by. He was hanging out with us, and I have a half suspicion that he was on the live stream to tell me to get back to work because I haven't done anything for TubeBuddy since Wednesday. So I'm a little behind on my work for them. Got to play a little catch up today on top of getting some construction done around the house.
Yeah, I'm surprised I was able to get on. Last week, I was trying to figure out because I thought I have a better reception with the phone, the service, you know what I mean, the cell service. Because right now I can hear you, but it gets real edgy sometimes, like glitchy using the Wi-Fi. But I didn't know how I was going to get the link from you. Because the only other option I have is through Facebook, which Amber actually texted it to me before you put it on the chat. So I was actually logging in as you were putting it in the chat.
Yeah, speaking of which, what are you using to get on?
Luckily, I have this old phone, but I don't think it's as good. It's not as smooth or whatever as when I had my own phone. I'm going to try and get the service put onto this phone. And as soon as I can afford it, I'm going to get a new phone. Because even that other one was getting kind of old.
Real quick here, since we are winding things down just a bit, I want to let everybody know before we all jump off. We are going to be doing our Outdoors Crew live stream this afternoon. It's going to be on Mr. Grant McIntosh's channel. I believe that's the link to his channel that I just posted there. If not, let me post one other one. I got to type this in by hand. Grant, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're here, if that is the correct link to your channel, because I'm not entirely sure that he has his vanity URL, but I believe he does. One of those links should be him. So if you guys want to join us this afternoon, this is our morning kickoff the day, kickoff the week live stream. But then obviously it's Monday, and the first Monday after Thanksgiving break, probably going to be a fairly heinous day. We've all got a lot of work that we got to get caught up on. The best way to end that day is with the Outdoors Crew doing the live stream. And today that's going to be over on the channel of Mr. Grant McIntosh. Can't click on people's chat thing anymore to check out their channel. So I'm hoping that is the correct link. I forgot to have it in the description this morning because it's Monday and I was running late on everything.
I'll probably get on there with some martinis.
Heck yeah.
It's Monday, man. You celebrate.
Monday martinis.
You're
Come and have a Monday martini with us this afternoon.
Like, what are you partying for? You're like, I'm always on there drinking. Like, it's Monday, bro.
This is the best day of the week to have a couple of martinis and relax a little bit, right?
Yeah. Get ready for the week.
Oh, dude. So as a funny little aside, you guys who do YouTube, I kind of like your opinion on maybe how I should approach this conversation. I went to Beeville, now has a seafood restaurant. The old Dog and Bee, Peter, for you.
They turned it into a restaurant?
It's a restaurant again. They haven't changed a thing. It is the exact same decorum that it used to be, Dog and Bee. For those guys who don't know this place, they opened up an English pub restaurant. Completely a unique thing in Beeville. Like, we do Mexican food. We don't do anything outside of that. Totally understand, Steve. Have a great one. Look forward to seeing you this afternoon, man. But so the Dog and Bee, this English pub, they put hundreds of thousands of dollars into decorating this place. It looks really rad, and they way overshot it. Like, they could not make their money back on that, so they ended up selling it. This is years ago. So now it's somebody finally bought it after like 5 years, and they've turned it into a seafood restaurant. Now, I know English pub. I love that. I like a good English pub. I enjoyed it. It just wasn't popular enough to hold things. Now, it still looks like an English pub, which to me, as a seafood restaurant, I think that's cool. You know, that's like old school fishmonger style.
The Dog and Bee service wasn't that great. It wasn't like the attitude in that place didn't suit Beeville very good.
No, it didn't. And it was just kind of wrong. They had really good food, or they had very, very decent food. It was good, but they charged too much for regular food.
Well, plus they had a hard time teaching people how to cook the good food because I'm sorry, I don't care if it's a special of the day. I don't care anything. I had to wait an hour for them to thaw a steak. You don't freeze steaks. So that was a telltale sign to me that place wasn't going to last very long.
It was the steaks that, in my opinion, that was where I had the issue, because they were charging $20, $25 for a steak, and they were not anywhere near as good as the stuff you get at H-E-B.
Because they were freezing them, man, and giving them freezer burn. They didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal was. So anyway,
maybe that's how the English do steak. I don't know. Maybe it's authentic English steak.
I don't understand why nobody likes these totally authentic frozen English steaks. That's how they do it.
Yeah, the English. It was actually a New York steak, English style.
Right.
In Beeville.
Now it's a seafood place, and it's. I'm going to do a Google review, maps review on it for them. It was nice. I like the place. I support the place. But I am going to say it was a little pricey for the food. But it's like boiling pot, like where they boil all the stuff. But they don't just dump it out on the table. They actually give you a plate with all this boiled, potatoes and corn, sausage and fish, or crab or whatever. The quantity really isn't, like, for the amount of food that you get, it's not really there. a little pricey on that end. But one thing that I noticed, the thing that caught my attention while I was there, is they have a TV dedicated to fishing YouTube channels.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let that sink in for a moment. And you know exactly where my mind is going on that. Why am I not on that playlist? And everybody, all my boys here, why are my boys not on that playlist? So I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to talk to this guy? Yeah, that's exactly right. I want to talk to him. What am I going to tell this guy?
Tell him
why am I not on your TV?
Yeah. And why don't I have a press pass or whatever for free food?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Like he was sitting there playing guys that we all know, and I'm sitting there watching him, and I'm like, is that it is. That's his channel. That's that guy. It's like, and so my next stop is like, okay, so I don't even care about the free food. I don't even care about that. My guys, we need A&J Outdoors. We need Hall and Ash. We need it's seafood. So, you know, I don't know. Like I would just make a push for any of my guys here. Grant McIntosh just needs to be on there. That just needs to be on that television. I'm not really worried about the food. I'm just full of myself to the point where I'm like, ooh, we need to be on that. Firmstead Smith says, I'm sure they do. I mean, it's YouTube, you know. How nice would it be to get that cycle, that rotation of views every day? That'd be worth a little bit.
That'd be cool.
I'm still not into baked beans for breakfast. That was an Irish thing. I don't know if I can handle that. I love the whole Ireland thing. I don't know about anything that they do as far as food and drink. I've heard stories about them, you know, people getting handed off a glass of whiskey, and I don't know if I could do like a pint of whiskey. I wish I was on it, Farmstead. That was kind of thing. Like I was kind of hoping I would be, but then I wasn't. And as a promoter, you know, promoting my own stuff, I'm like, okay, so this is somebody I need to talk to about a thing. And I'm not even going to be full of myself. I'm not going to be like, dude, I'm a superstar. I need to be on your TV. I'm going to go in there and straight up be like, help a brother out.
Now I'd walk in there and slam my hand on the bar and be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Like I need to get a T-shirt with a red T-shirt with a YouTube logo, and get some of those glasses that look like the digital like sunglasses thing, and a YouTube hat, and probably like one of those lanyards, a YouTube watch.
Be like, you must not be from Beeville because I'm literally the only person here that fishes and has a YouTube channel.
I think it would be a fair deal to include him, like make a deal with him. And I would make this deal with any restaurant in town. I look forward to trying this, but I'm going to be like, dude, I do a fishing channel. Let me go catch some fish, and then let's integrate this into what you do as well, help you out a little bit. I'm going to bring it to you. You cook it up for me, and let's show everybody this awesome restaurant that you have.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You get a little bit of traffic out of that. You know, people will see it a little bit.
That's a good idea. Telling them, hey, man, I do the channel. Let's do them both. I'll catch a fish and see what you can do with it.
Your TV there with the YouTubers and stuff on it. Let's get your restaurant playing on a video on that channel.
Yeah, do a live stream.
You know? That would be the perfect place to do a live stream. That place is gorgeous.
It is pretty nice. I mean, aside from the old problems they had when it was the other place, the building itself and the decor and all that was really nice.
Yeah. All wood, and the whole restaurant is divided up into these little rooms and stuff, you know, like an English pub. So every 2 tables has a little room, little booth, kind of nice. Of course, the bar runs the length of the whole joint. It still has it's all partitioned off into different rooms, but it's gorgeous woodwork and mirrors, and I just think that's all really pretty. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have that anymore. That got sold off, and that is now a different restaurant. That's like a deli. Mm-hmm. Different ownership on that, I think. Well, guys, on that note, I'm getting a little bit hoarse. I need another cup of coffee, and I got to start my day. I know that everybody else has to do the same. Farmstead, you're out there working with the donkeys and A&J. I know that you probably got this playing while you're at work. Guys, I want to thank you very much for joining us. We've had a good morning here. This is exactly the start that I needed to this entire week. So I thank you very much for that. Peter, appreciate you being able to jump on here with us, man. I know it was a rough start for you.
Late. I'm glad I figured it out.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Not a problem. It was a good warm up for me to get it's been a while since I've had to manhandle a live stream on my own, so it was nice to be able to kind of kick the rust off a little bit. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you all in the live stream on Grant McIntosh's channel this afternoon. It'll be at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. I believe that is 3 o'clock Pacific Time. Am I right about that? It's earlier. Central. Yeah, I believe it's 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock Pacific and something Eastern. I don't know. 5 o'clock, 4. I don't know. I don't do time zones. Anyway,
well,
you'll have it on there.
Between 3 and 7 o'clock.
Right.
Depending on where you're at in the country. Yeah. Just stay tuned from 3 p.m. on.
Basically at 1:15 this afternoon, go ahead and log on to Grant's channel and just keep it there. Just sit there and just wait. There will be a live stream at some point. I guarantee it. So have a wonderful day. Thank you very much, Farmstead Smith. It's an absolute pleasure, ma'am. I really appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you on Discord or the forums or wherever else today. John, I'll see you this afternoon. Peter, hope you guys have a great afternoon. We'll catch you in the next video.